This is the testimony of the most terrible experience that you cannot wrap your mind around. No matter who you are, where you come from, you can't wrap your mind around this. And believe me, I can't wrap my mind around this. No matter how hard I try, I can literally not wrap my own mind around this because my mind cannot work this out. No matter what tools I reach for, I can't work this one out. Oh boy, what I'm going through is a lot deeper than what you can imagine. It's beyond your mind. It's so far beyond your mind, you cannot wrap your mind around it. I can't. I haven't got hope in hell. I've tried everything I can, and this has been playing on my mind non-stop every day for 9 years. Since 2016, I cannot get this off my mind on a daily basis. It exhausts my time, it drains my energy every day. I can't wrap my mind around it. I cannot. The biggest thing happening worldwide today is UAP disclosures. UAP disclosures. Unexplained aerial phenomenon. You know, if you go Google the 212 phenomenon, that's a very powerful unexplained phenomenon. Unexplained aerial phenomenon. Think about principality and the power in the air. The Bible warns about principality and power in the air, in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is changing a lot with magnetic fields worldwide. People are losing their sixth sense with all their biofields worldwide. Mental disorders and defects going through the roof. Stress, fear, anxiety, confusion, frustration, delusion, paranoia, and a communication breakdown. Self-centered people, competitive people, actors all over the world, over-exaggeration, propaganda, spreading lies and disinformation, trapped in their mind, in themselves, worldwide. So deep in themselves, they do not know what's going on at all. But they think they do, but they don't. They haven't got a clue. They can't wrap their mind around it. I know that for a fact. They cannot wrap their mind around the truth. They cannot deal with it and they cannot face it. I know for a fact. Oh boy. I tell you, this is really hardcore shit. And it's very, very hectic. It's so hardcore and so hectic that people live in a comfort zone, in a rabbit hole, and cannot go any further. They go down the rabbit holes and they sit in a comfort zone somewhere they feel comfortable in, but they can't cross over. They don't know how to cross over, and they sit in a comfort zone worldwide without even realizing what's really going on. Mate, I was clinically dead in 2012 for 23 minutes, and I went for a strange, unexplained aerial phenomenon and a transformation I can't explain the way you really understand. With genetic memory, a genetic process with deja vu, predict the future, prevent what's going to happen, telekinesis, mental telepathy, ESP, things I cannot explain. Miracles, they call them. Divine intervention to command nature, godlike power, supernatural power. We cannot explain these things. Oh boy, I never read the Bible. I never went to church. Nothing in this world prepared me for what happened in 2012. I was the biggest mastermind in the underground world, #1 in the Star Champion category. The biggest mastermind according to the biggest think tank in the world. in the Star Chamber inquiry, the Gatekeeper report. When I read this document in 2004, I thought the cops are just pumping up BS. Honestly, I didn't believe the report myself at all. I thought the cops are full of shit, man. They got to be dumb. They always pump things up and blow you out of control to get a big conviction. They always do the same shit over and over. I've seen it 1,000 times before. They always lie. They lie and manipulate in every fucking document in a courtroom. I know that for a fact. They lie and pump the case up with circumstantial evidence when they don't have any. My own arresting officer said at my second mention they were setting me up for corruption, right? Because it was. So I didn't believe nothing in their reports, obviously. Why would I? I knew I was set up with corruption on unexplained income by a guy who robbed a Ford Motor Company $500,000, and they let him off and got him to sign documents to make me look like I lost 500 grand. And then he got away with what he done. And my own arresting officer says they don't have the evidence. And he knew I was being set up for corruption. He knew that. That was declared years later. The most corrupt cases in Australian history is my cases by Chief Judge of Jersey. Everything was corruption. So why would I believe anything they wrote in my documents? Why would I? When there was so much corruption involved in my case, why would I believe any single thing they write down when they're that much full of corruption? In 8 cases, right, put in by Chief Judge of Jersey in every university, 2 most corrupt cases in Australian history are tied with 8 cases all up in toll. Corruption in every single one. 2004 Supreme Court examination, it was declared by the judge I was the only guy telling the truth in money laundering, where they said I gave away, they tried to take all the money from people I gave money away to, and it was nearly $72 million, but it was proven in the court of law, under the Gift Act, it was illegal and could not be taken off them, and the whole case was full on corrupted by the cops and politicians that wanted the money. And it was deemed to be corrupt. Witness protection, put my wife and kids in witness protection, deemed to be corrupt. Unlawfully tried to deport me, deemed to be corrupt. Mental health research, trying to set me up for mental health to keep me in prison, deemed to be corrupt. My arresting officer and 40 other cops retired the police force because we brought down the highest deaths of Heckie, Keelan, violence and misviolence in 30 years, from 1996 to 2000. We are on the front page of the Brisbane Courier Mail in 2001 with the guns that disarmed Australia, the taxpayers paid for 5 years earlier. On the front page of the Brisbane Courier Mail on the 18th of January 2001. I'm the biggest mastermind according to their documents. In the Gatekeeper report, in the Star Chamber inquiry, where we were arrested, right? Arrested in the 1st of January 1999 in the Star Chamber inquiry. Every network across Australia with my product on every testing centre that turned out to be the most powerful truth serum in the world that brought people back in the Pamol state. Proven with DNA studies done and big mental health research. So I stopped violence, gang killing and drug deaths and domestic violence the lowest in 30 years, in 4 years. I made everybody work together. In prostitution with the toughest laws imposed, right, on the 1st of January 1992 in Queensland, I'm on the front page of the papers King Buys and 17 current affairs shows that mastermind loopholes to laws and manipulation. 17 cases with no case to answer to because I remodeled the laws and revamped the laws. The toughest laws have been imposed, and Peter Beattie used my laws to revamp the laws with, because we set the model and took down the highest death toll from gang killing or rapes and killing and prostitution. And Squeezy magazine by psychiatrists and social workers had us in the magazine every month for 2 years straight. We created the most positive atmosphere in the southeast corner of Queensland and had a genuine relationship with one-on-one. Okay, and we set the circumstances that Peter Beattie remodeled the law with and legalised the toughest laws ever imposed, and then imposed the most powerful legal laws for our model. We had no case to answer to because we did it prima proper perfect. That's why we have no case to answer to. So they call me a mastermind on 17 current affairs shows of manipulation and loopholes laws because I could unravel their system, so they used my system to revamp the laws with. In 1984, I stamped an Indian number in such a way that 5 years later, the X-ray machine could not detect it. I had the head of Auto Theft Squad come up and visit me from Melbourne. come and sit down at my table and said, you know, Kim, you done one car. You're at 24 years old, and your car's more perfect than the biggest auto theft people in the world that we have on record. You see, the Trident Inquiry, they're sending 4,000 cars from Melbourne to LA every month, okay, in the biggest inquiry for car racketeering in Australian history. And LA police was involved in this, federal police, and they flew up from Melbourne with the auto theft squad in Melbourne with the federal police, also from LA. They brought photos and put them down on the table and said, these are the best engineers in the auto theft departments, the best engine number stampers in the world, and nothing compared with my engine number. It was perfect, and the X-ray machine could not even detect it. They came out 5 years later. So I did it 5 years before the X-ray machine came out. Mastermind reports, 7 powerful reports by the biggest think tank. I developed laboratory glass that no scientist thought of, that brought a 40-hour process down to 3.5, right? That put me to the scene of the crime. You can see under the evidence, on the brief evidence, they tested the glass in their lab and couldn't believe it, what the results were. When they found out we also created the most powerful truth serum in the world, that brought people back at the Pomona state, that plummeted the work to the lowest it was in 30 years, including domestic violence where kids got taken on their parents to go into homes to get raped and bashed and become prisoners and prostitutes later. That caused the Royal Commission that's been paying out for this kind of abuse, where people go into prison because they were raped and bashed. For 23 years they've been paying out and still paying out to this day, with many followers here on my platform. And the stolen back generation of polity for bombing their parents back in the 40s and 50s with the nuclear bombs that took off Hitler and dropped all over Australia and killed all their parents, including 72,000 that cut to pieces in Queensland in 1929, chopped them to pieces and drained their blood because they had godlike power with their natural abilities with resurrection and not trapped in the reincarnation trap with the double Y, double X chromosome. That's why they're paying out $250 billion today for the stolen black generation that we caused in the underground world when we brought people back in the Pomona state and caused the most powerful adverse effect ever in human history with the Royal Commission, stolen black generation, DNA study done in mental health research, where we found the truth, the real truth. And it's hard to stomach and wrap your mind around, even for me. In 1992, I brought someone back to life in hospital with 7 peer reports and CCTV in 1992. Kirsteen Ashley, Ipswich Hospital, 1992. She flatlines 4 times. I bring her back to life 3 times. She wrote the most powerful poem in 2003, the one and only, worldwide number 1 for 8 months. And they did a study and they asked her. She said, it was me that brought her back to life and harnessed the power. The divine power to command nature, they said, the godlike power. And I didn't even know. And I didn't even believe in it neither. I didn't know and I didn't believe it because how do you wrap your mind around that when you don't know? You're sitting there watching a miracle, and little do you realize that when you're sitting there in fight-flight mode and watch the love of your life die after she's narcaned the first time with a drug overdose from home, taken to Ipswich Hospital, working on it frantically, given 0% chance of being she flatlines, then her body lifts 8 inches off the bed, one into the other and come back to life. Not once, not twice, but 3 times with CCTV and 7 peer reports. And all you're doing is sitting there saying to yourself, God, if you exist, don't take away from me. She's the love of my life. I'll sacrifice anything. I don't care. Take anything of me. Anything you want, but not her. And boom, she comes back to life. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Do you think that you believe it's got anything to do with you? You haven't got a clue. You're oblivious. You realize it's a miracle, and that's all you think about. Oh, thank God she's alive. But you don't even know what's going on. She wrote the most powerful poem in 2003, the one and only. And they interviewed her and she said, I was the one responsible for bringing her back to life. Now, you don't believe that crap. You think, mate, she's delusional. It's just what you think, man. You think this is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff, man. I died in 2012 with an unexplained error phenomenon and went through an event I cannot explain. And through a massive transformation I cannot explain. Okay? I cannot explain. Then, after being dead for 23 minutes, I was paralysed, went down, told I'd never ever walk in, got up and walked out in 45 minutes. 3.5 years later, I'm sitting down with 2 top biologists and 2 biggest think tank in the world in a 6-hour meeting. A 6-hour meeting. A 6-hour meeting. All my life, I thought there was something wrong with me or everyone's just lying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I remember at 5 years old, I told my mum about the worst moment of life in 1945, World War II, 15 years before I was born. I said, Mum, what happened? I'm having this nightmare. She said, what's going on? I said, I'm sitting in your arms, Mum, and we're shit scared and there's bombs outside, sitting in the cellar. I'm shit scared, Mum, and you're shit scared and there's bombs outside. What happened, Mum? I'm having this nightmare. My mum said I was crazy, just dreaming, right? And the fact was, years later I found out she couldn't deal with the truth. It was her and her mum. It wasn't me. How could I possibly know? How could I possibly know? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Not really. I can't explain it with my mind. I can't explain with grammar. I can't use religious political cults neither because it doesn't work. You cannot explain this. But I saw my mum in her mum's arms and felt exactly what she was going through in 1945 World War II, and I thought it was me. I was having this nightmare with genetic memory, with genetic process and a genetic memory. And she said I was crazy and dreaming, man. And for years, I thought I was crazy and dreaming, right? And I didn't know what the fuck was going on. For years of my life. For 50 years, I didn't know. 50 years of my life, I didn't fucking know. How did I stand within your number in such a way the X-ray machine could not detect it? I don't fucking know. I didn't know. I thought the cops were full of shit, just trying to pump it up, right, to destroy me, because they always do. They're always corrupted. It's a known fact. Fitzgerald inquiry, Lightning Rich inquiry, the Wolves inquiry, okay, the Trident inquiry, the Martin Bryan Buyback plan. We have the guns in the front page paper 5 years later. We take over their signers and create the most powerful system in the world. So we know they're corrupted to the fucking shit house from the streets. Because I live in the fucking streets. I'm an outlaw and go against every single system, including religious, political behaviour and New Age cults. Because I'm an outlaw. And I don't believe in anyone. I always thought everybody was pumping shit on me and just lying, because everybody does. They live in a delusional state. They do not know what they're doing. They haven't got a fucking clue. They can only use 10% of their brain. 15 with the highest IQ people in the world. And then I'm sitting down for 6 fucking hours being told in a 34-year study and 16-year DNA study, I've been clinically dead 3 times. I brought someone back to life 3 times with peer reports and CCTV. I've got the most authentic DNA in the world with genetic memory and a genetic process to repair the human conditioning, repair mental health research, DNA studies done, right? I can repair anything in my DNA with the genetic memory. Up to this point in time in 2016, I sat down for 6.5 hours and I'm told by the biggest think tank and the biggest biologist in the world in a top secret meeting, I'm one of a kind in every study done. One of a kind in every study done for 34 years and DNA for 16 years with miracles, documents and every bit of support, 50 meters of documents written about me. Mainstream TV, mainstream news, front page of the newspapers, 17 current affairs shows. And I'm revising my perception, right? I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here, man? What the fuck are you saying to me? Kim, you're one of a kind in every study done. There's no one else on earth like you, not even remotely close. We have other people like you that has a lot of these abilities, but the abilities that you have, you are number 1 in the Star Champ Inquiry. The biggest think tank in the world, Kim. You are number 1 in the underground world with God-like power in every single study done. The biggest mastermind reports, Kim, you're the biggest mastermind on their documents to use 100% of your brain and all your supernatural power in miracles and hospital with divine power to command nature. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just a normal person, man. I never went to church. I never read the Bible. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. Kim, did you not go through the 212 phenomenon and die, clinically dead? And were you not paralyzed from your neck down and got up and walked out yourself? And then you thought it was a misdiagnosed, correct? We can now prove with the Neuralink and DNA studies done, it was not a big misdiagnosis. You got up and walked out yourself. When we did an interview on your wife, who died in 1992, we did an interview on your brother who died in the Kimsey bus accident. We did an interview on a few people, and some of those are listed as miracles, Kim. You know what comes with you? We do. You don't. You don't even believe in yourself. You don't even know. Kim, you don't know. We do. In the biggest DNA study we've done, we've been watching you. When you were in jail for 10 years, Kim, you were the first person we found with a self-preservation mode with DNA to preserve DNA in 2008. You got a brand new arteries around your stents. You've repaired so many things in your DNA, it's beyond belief. Kim, you've been in hospital that many times, 7 different comas, bled to death nearly 3 times, 3 separate occasions, clinical death 3 times. Do you know how much hospital records we got on you, Kim? It's phenomenal. You were stabbed 27 times. You had staph. You were virtually in the point of no return many times. Somehow you kept returning and kept repairing. Your medical files and your medical records is beyond anybody else's. With those miracles and that DNA. And we can't work that out, Kim. We've never seen nothing like it in our life. You got a brand new answer in your stents. You cured your arteries and repaired yourself. You were clinically dead in 2012. And you were powerless from your neck down and told you never walk in, and you got up and walked out yourself. And Kim, we can confirm you did do it yourself, and you've gone for a massive transformation in your DNA in that 3.5 years alone. When we took your DNA in that day, and we look at it today, holy crap, we've never seen nothing like it. You're one of a kind. Absolutely one of a kind in every study done. That's why we're having this top secret meeting here, Kim. That's why we're meeting you here. We know that every single person in the world lies about you as well. We know that. We know they're the opposite and anti-clockwise in their aura and their DNA. You're clockwise, Kim. You're the most clockwise aura in your DNA we've ever seen. With the most divine power in your aura, in your DNA, in your body cells. With genetic memory and a genetic process. What the fuck are you talking about, man? I had to revise my perception about every single thing in my life when I thought I was being lied to and didn't believe in it myself. And I had to go back to my childhood and realise my mum lied to me for 50 years and couldn't deal with the truth. I had to realise so many things. My brother didn't talk to me for 27 years since he died in the Kimsey bus accident and flatline and came back because he was sent back from heaven to earth because of me. So he blamed me for 27 years. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I didn't believe in anything like that. But he flatlined and was sent back from heaven to earth because of me and blamed me for 27 years. And I didn't even know. And I never believed in anything like that. I had no fucking idea because it's beyond belief. It's beyond the mind. It's so far beyond the mind you can't wrap your fucking mind around it, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you believe in. You have to let go. You have to die and let go your personality and your mentality because it's so wrong, you have no idea. You have to wake up from amnesia and the reincarnation trap. You have to let go your vessel. You have to control from the outside in instead of the inside out. Instead of being trapped in the mind and limited so much and being lied to and every level so much by every other Western world that's anti-clockwise in their DNA and can only think anti-clockwise. to control their narrative. 98.7% of the population is an anti-clockwise in their DNA, and limited can only use up to 15% of their brain. I use 100%. 100%. I was always right, and everybody was always wrong about me my whole life. I was always right, and I didn't even know. I thought these people were dickheads and liars. Just dickheads and liars. I thought these people saying things like this about me were dickheads and liars, and always calling me a freak of nature, always running me down, always discredited me, always said I was mental when I'm not, and never was. It's the other way around. They always accuse me of what they're guilty of, with their thoughts and their opinions in their mind, and they're trapped so deep in themselves with their own opinions into their narrative, and do not know what they're doing. And I do. I'm the only one that does. I'm the only one that has my full genetic memory to do every single thing that Christ can and more. And when I'm told that, holy crap, I didn't even know. I never read the Bible, I never went to church. But I'm the only one that can do every single thing that Christ can and more in my DNA, with 34 years study in the biggest mastermind reports in the world, and 16 years of DNA study with the biggest mental health research and DNA studies done by Jeremy Gibbs and the top scholars in the whole world. With the most powerful confirmation, the biggest merge in human history, with 16,000 top scholars in the world. The Holy Grail of Life. The book Freedom by Jeremy Gibbs. DNA, the book of life. And it's me, my DNA. It's the book of life. In the most powerful confirmation on earth. Mate, you got no fucking idea what it's like to be me. You haven't got a fucking clue. To be in my shoes and being rejected by 99.999%. They just spit on you with jealous, spiteful behaviour and couldn't fucking care less. You know, I'm the only one that comes with resurrection and protect the elect with DNA studies done. I'm the only one of a kind that knows every single thing that you do not know. Nobody does. Not one human being on earth. And when you know that, it's fucking terrifying. When you know that everybody thinks you're delusional and you're an idiot and you're fucking dreaming and you're on drugs. Because that's the mentality of the whole world. Every pastor, every preacher, every Christian, every New Age, every human being on earth is in the same ridiculous mentality and limited so much they don't know what they're doing. They have no faith. They have no aura. They can't master their mind. They can't use 100% of their brain. They can't use their biofields. They can't use their attuned codependent power because they don't have any. And I do. The most in the world. The most power. And people fucking laugh at me and throw stones at me all day, every day. Just scroll on like fucking robots and actors and zombies that couldn't care less. Well, I was selected like this with UAPs. Orbs of light coming to me with the most powerful confirmation on earth and the biggest, most powerful conclusion and studies to confirm it. The most powerful confirmation on earth in the biggest study ever done, even by border security, right? Even on international events on CCTV. The most powerful confirmation on earth in the most powerful documents ever developed in modern history. And fuck, it scares you when you realize how every human being on earth behaves towards you. Every single human on earth discredits you, runs you down, lies about you, and hasn't got a care factor at all. None. Yet you're warned about the one and only in the Bible that will come with the resurrection. One man, and you will not know who he is. And trust me, I didn't even fucking know who that was. But I was developed with the most powerful confirmation that I cannot lie. And everybody else in the world does. And they're all credit thieves and content thieves and liars and don't give a fuck about nothing but themselves. And I'm telling you, They're trapped so deep into themselves that most of them are beyond the point of return, and no one can use their natural process and their natural organic motor skills like I can. No one in the world can. They just want to argue, debate with you and compare with you, and they do not know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. The voices in their mind has been ultimately designed for human extinction in their own truth, manifesting their own truth, and coming to their own conclusion with reasoning, with a personality they're trapped into, with amnesia. They can't use 85 to 93% of their brain. I can. They can't. I can. They can't. Released on disclosures worldwide by NSA, CIA, and the biggest think tank in the world. It's on their fucking documents on disclosure, on UAP disclosure. Unexplained aerial phenomenon. I'm number one worldwide. This sits on your chest and sits on you every day since the day you were told. And there's nothing you can do. It's completely out of your hands, and you're not in charge and you're not in control. And the way you feel is not in your control. The feelings you have is like you're the most concerned father in the world for every human being on earth and trying to save everyone, because that's how you feel. And there's nothing you can do to change it. You're not in control at all. The outside influence with the principality and the power in the air, with divine power to command nature, is what controls me, and I'm not in control because the mind hasn't got a fucking clue. Wouldn't know how. Natural selection and natural order and natural selection. I'm selected naturally by UAP, unexplained aerial phenomenon, from the day I was 5 years old. Because the first orb that came to me, the light bulb idea, the picture that tells you that I was going to lie to you, that turns into a portal with dimensional thinking, remote view, mental telepathy, deja vu, to predict the future came to me when I was a child. And everyone says you're crazy and just dreaming like the boogeyman, the monster in the bed. You know, some of us has imaginary friends, right? And you can't talk about it. Some of us has an outside influence. And the arresting officer said, Kim, we know you have an angel watching over you with the kind of divine power that you have. My own arresting officer, Craig Duran, and many cops said, we know you have an angel watching over you with the kind of power that you have. God-like power. And I thought they were fucking joking. I thought they were just kicking me, man. You hear that comment on the streets, mate. Oh, mate, you got an angel watching over you. You've been kissed in the dick by an angel, mate. Hey? Hey, look out, here comes God. You know, we joke about these things. But what if they turn out to be real? Because in my case, they do. In my case, they're more real than anything else in the world is. And you didn't know. But you have an angel watching over you, all right? With the most divine power to command nature you never knew you had. But I have an angel, a celestial primordial being sitting over the top of me with divine power. A Holy Spirit divine light that I never knew. I never knew. I had no idea. None. It's completely oblivious to what's going on. With amnesia. Had no idea. And it took me a lifetime of dedication. And I put my mark on earth in the biggest study ever done. My book, The Testimony of Drug We Were Born, unfolds and becomes the soul evidence. I predict the future with the biggest confirmation ever recorded in history. You think it's a joke? Every pastor and priest in New Age throws stones at me and all die prematurely from stress-related diseases. Every one of them. 98.7%'s got 600 to 6,000 defective genes. So they're deformed with hereditary genes that spread into the kids, and now 77's been born with chronic diseases worldwide. Because Westerners live in denial, called the species in denial in 2003, and told they were crazy and the parents were crazy in 99. On my date of birth, the 27th September, they found my DNA in 2008 that declared the last human being born was 1960. And it's me, the 27th September 1960. Fuck me. How do you think I feel when I'm declared as the last human being born on earth that can do every single thing that Christ can and more with the most powerful confirmation on earth? The one that comes with the resurrection of humanity. The one that knows the right tools. The most righteous human being on earth with natural selection and natural order with the most authentic DNA. It's me. And I was an outlaw, and I had to be an outlaw, and I had to stand against every system in order to discover that. Do you know that? I had to put my foot through this path. I was put through this path like this to learn these things. I would have never learned at school or social media actors and self-proclaimed nutcases that all religious political behaviour and New Age cults. They haven't got a fucking clue. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. They're not the elect. They're not the ones chosen for UAPs. But divine intervention, divine power to command nature with miracles and hospital records. And they never wrote the books that unfold with evidence. They never wrote the books that unfold with evidence. And you're warned about that in the old Bible. We'll come from the cave of prison with the tooth of masses, with fire coming out of mouth and raggedy clothes, like a thief in the night, with shining armour. Divine power. And we'll write the books that unfold with evidence, told in the oldest Bible in the world. And it's not Western civilization. All the artificial human beings in post-human stage going through transhuman zombie apocalypse were the body-snatching warriors. They gave consent to, with parasites and hostile entity, and listen to the wrong voice of mine declared worldwide. You don't know what you're fucking doing, and you can't wrap your mind around any of it. You can't live in the truth, so it'll never set you free, will it? If you can't handle it, you can't face it, and you will never find the liberation either. And I know that the hard way. Because I went through the transformation, and I know what freedom is, and I know what being high as a kite is, with my natural process, with my sacred secretion, with my sixth sense, to see the vision that tells me 1,000 words are going to lie to me, with the universal language, with God-like power and divine power to command nature. I was always right. And I'm the only one, the most righteous human being with the most authentic DNA. Do you know what it's like to be me? When 99.999% of Westerners throw stones and you ain't got no faith and can't feel the truth anymore, they come to their own conclusion with their mind, with the voice once old me shine big distinction. That sounds like Christ consciousness and sound heavily. That's all developed by the Rockefellers, into the conscious singularity by WF, into their mind, into the mentality, but not spirituality, because they haven't got any. They haven't fucking got any. The 212 phenomenon, when I died for 23 minutes, it was the third time I was clinically dead. I was lifted right out of my shell. My spirituality was taken right out of my shell, and I watched my own vessel walk away. A body snatch. Nah, it was my own personality. Right? I got taken out of my shell with the 212 phenomenon to wake up from amnesia and go through a transformation by 3.5 years to control my vessel from the outside in. And Kim, my personality and mentality, he died. But I have his memory. But he died. Kim died in 2012. Kim died in 2012, literally. His mentality and personality died. His opinion died. His everything died. He went through a transformation for 3.5 years and then went into the biggest study ever done and sat down for 6 hours and told one of a kind. From that moment onwards, that was the moment that I had faith in myself and took over my vessel, over my personality, over my mentality. And Kim never came back. Kim never came back. Since then, I've been a completely different person because I gave consent for the outside primordial being to take control of my vessel. I gave consent. I'm only DNA, RNA. I'm only a messenger. But I'm the most powerful mission in the world. Everybody else is trapped in their mind and is only an actor. Everybody else don't realise the outside influence of reality, and that's why they can only use 7 to 15% of their brain, because they gave consent to the voice of mind that old me something to themselves. Trapped in themselves. They're not in a primordial state. They haven't crossed over. They haven't gone through the rebirth. And that, my friend, is judgment through the natural selection. In a 7-year lay from 220 to 227, the crossover. The last 7 years of the timeline deception and the first 7 years of the timeline of sevenfold wisdom knowledge. And I damn well know I'm right. And I tell you, it is the most terrifying experience in the world to be in right now, in my shoes and my footsteps, to know that everybody in the world has no faith in what God has developed in me, with the most powerful confirmation on earth and 5 biblical prophecies and declarations worldwide lands on my date of birth, 27 Holy Spirit Divine Light scales for justice, 1960 Middle Rat King of all kings, and I can't make it up. The New York climate clock would run 220 to 227. Go look at the 2-minute video on YouTube, the most powerful number placed in the center of our society, and the clock displayed to the 27th September, my birthday, 2,000 years to the day from when Christ was baptized by John, 27 September 27. You would see a supernova in the middle of 7. You would see 2 moons in the middle of 7. Daniel 9:27, September 27. The middle of 7, Jacob's trouble. On the same day last year in 224, the middle of 7, Jacob's trouble, 7 year. In the middle of 7, 7-year lay, Jacob's trouble, the crossover, 220, 227. On the year climbing up, 7-year countdown. 7-year countdown, 227. That's the end date. You don't cross over by then. You go in the 6th magic extinction strip in the 6th sense of the 6th time. Animals go around circles over the earth like the days of Noah. Birds falling in the sky losing their vertigo like the days of Noah. Fish going around circles like the days of Noah. Fauna collapsing by 38 to 90% valley like the days of Noah. Agendas going through the roof with self-centered behavior. Confusion, frustration, illusion, paranoia. Self-centered behavior. Delusional parasitosis. People out of control in mental disorders and defects going through the roof with narratives, and all actors across the world sitting in front of a screen all day in a 5-sense world. None of these people can think instinctively, they're told in the Matrix documentary in 99. You were told you were crazy and your parents are crazy in 99, and no one can think instinctively to think outside the mind. They could do with counter scan and more and control the business from the outside in, because they're trapped in their mind with IQ behavior, IQ robots, IQ behavior, IQ actors, okay, polarized, hypnotized state. And the last human being born on earth that can use their natural process with genetic memory was born in 1960. And they all lived in a delusional state and declared species in 2003. They found my DNA in 2008 with the most authentic DNA in the world and the cure of everything you suffer from. And then you live in denial about it and avoid this the most. Declared by 16,000 top scholars the Holy Grail of life. And the book Freedom, right, it's the Holy Grail of life by 16,000 top scholars, the biggest mercy in human history, with my DNA, the book of life. We're not breathing programs to recreate the second creation, who's won a Nobel Prize, the Holy Breath of life. No one pays attention because no one cares. I will protect the elect and no one else will. We will teach the resurrection of 40-day crossover, and we do it every day with testimonies from our followers. And you don't believe me. I don't care what you believe in. You're a dysfunctional psychological creature trapped in a personality and mentality, and you just want to control the narrative because you haven't got a care factor. You got no love, no loyalty, no honor, no respect, no moral, no empathy, no remorse. You can't keep your own relationship together with codependent power in your own family, loves and friends. You just want to sit here in front of the screen all day and pretend you're human when you're not. You're the most dysfunctional actors all over the world and self-proclaimed truthers that are nutcases and live in denial with parasitosis. You cannot do what I can do. You cannot do what Christ can do. You have not crossed over. You have not gone back in your innocence through the rebirth. So stop lying to yourself. Stop throwing stones at me when you're so dysfunctional and accusing me what you're guilty of. Because you're a filthy, low-life animal. Like the days of Lot, like the days of Noah. Godly small creature all over the earth, and you never followed the right footsteps because you had no faith. Well, I always thought instinctively when you all lied to me and called me a freak of nature when you lied to me. Every fucking person in the world, my family, my friends, everybody lied to me. Every politician and cop lies to me. Every motherfucker on earth lies. Everyone's a credit thief and a liar. Everybody doesn't care, only about themselves. With their own opinions, worldwide, they don't care. They're artificial transhumans all over the world. And they're damn good mouthpieces. They will tell you whatever you hear, but you immediately resonate with them without any codependent power. That's why you're back to front. You sit in the screen all day following actors and robots. All day. And lie to yourself with addictions. And you're possessed. You are possessed with the voice of one that tells you to do that. In a comfort zone. That's only your personality. You're possessed. You are all possessed worldwide in 98.7% of the population. You are possessed. And if you don't believe that, you're fucked. I was possessed my own personality, and he walked up with my vessel and put me out. I got pushed out of my shell and watched my own personality and my own mentality walk away with a mind of its own. And I went through that transformation for a reason. In the UAP, Unexplained Human Phenomenon 212. And when you read about this, remember this. Don't trust scientists. Don't trust Hollywood spinners and American dreamers that acts with their IQ behavior and thinks they know better with scientists, professors, than what you read. They haven't got a fucking clue. They're actors that live in reverse psychology. They don't have mental telepathy, ESP, remote viewing, telekinesis, levitation, spoon bending, clock winding, folding space and time with deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen. They do not. They're anti-clockwise. Their body cells in corrupt collusion during the daytime because they live in a narrative and they live in their mind with their own perception, anti-clockwise with the placebo effect in their DNA, and DNA is a book of life. Only 1.3% are clockwise. Only 1.3%, and it's no Westerner or anyone on the screen, I can promise you that. I promise you. I'm the one that's right. I'm the outlaw. I'm the street warrior. I'm the biggest godfather the world's ever seen. And you have to stand against the whole system. If you want to know the truth, you have to wake up from amnesia and stand against every single religious political behavior and every New Age cult, because you're all full of shit and full of themselves. Everything's anti-clockwise. Everything is anti-clockwise, son. And I'm the last human being on earth that you got faith in. I'm the last one. Yet I'm the only one that can save you. That's in the Christ image to do what Christ can more and selected like this. How do you think it feels to be me? 9 years, every day, 5 years every day here. And everybody throws stones at me and goes back to their own narrative and do not know what they're doing. Cannot feel the truth. They won't be saved. I promise you. I'm the most powerful primordial being on earth in spirituality that controls my business from the outside in, not the inside out. And until you cross over, you've got no fucking idea what you're talking about. You are limited and you can own 15% of your brain. I use 100%. And you're all jealous, spiteful, egotistical cowards and couldn't fucking care less. Couldn't give a fucking shit. Well, in 27 September, I promise you, over 99% will go in the sixth mass extinction, stripping the sixth sense for the sixth time, because they didn't care, and because their species in denial live in a massive global delusional state. Warning and revelation declare with DNA worldwide. Everybody's a delusional parasite. Everyone is in a delusional state. Every Westerner has 600 to 6,000 defective genes with deformity. And all their kids are born, 77%, with deformity, with chronic diseases, because they're species in denial. And when you realize you're the only one, and it plays on you every day, you know that everybody else around you has no fucking idea what they're doing. They think they do, but they don't. Couldn't give a fuck. I can't wrap my mind around this. I've had to revise my perception about everything. And what I come to learn about myself is that every single thing for 34 years was the truth. And they couldn't wrap their mind around it. They never could. 7 peer reports, 7 mastermind reports. I can do things no one else can. I can do things nobody else in the world can. In 7 massive reports, in a mastermind report. 7 things no other human being on earth has ever done. And I'm the one and only, developed like this. And every day when I wake up, I have to live with that fact. I cannot run away from it. I cannot lie. because of what I feel every day. I feel like your Father. And I want to save every human being on earth, and I can't. I can't get through their thick skull, and they don't care. They have no feelings, they have no trust, and they have zero faith in me. Yet God developed the most powerful confirmation on earth, and it proves they have no faith in me. God warned in the Bible, I'll come from the cave of prison with the tooth of mason and raggedy clothes, like a thief in the night, with shining armor. And you're told I'll be an outlaw. You're told I'll go against the whole system. You're told you'll know by the tools, and you won't know who I am, but you'll know by the signs with the moons and the stars and biblical signs. So last year in the middle of 7, supernova, Jacob Star went in supernova on my birthday, Daniel 9:27, the middle of 7, Jacob's trouble, Jacob Star supernova. 4 days later, 2 moons. 3 powerful prophecies in the middle of 7 all came true last year. The supernova in the middle of 7, Jacob's Star, Daniel 9:27, the middle of 7, Jacob's trouble, and the 2 moons. 3 powerful prophecies. 2 moons and Jacob's Star supernova. 4 days apart. You can't lie about it. Right there in front of your face, you cannot lie about it. Right there in front of your face, you cannot lie about it. The 2 moons on the 1st of October and the 27th of September, the supernova, Jacob Star supernova, Daniel 9:27, the middle of 7, Jacob's trouble, 2:27, 2:20 to 2:27, New York climate clock, 7-year countdown, the end date 2:27 September, 27 September 2:27, exactly 2,000 years when Christ was baptized by John, 27 September 27, my birthday. You declared posthumous days my birthday 99, you're crazy. The last human being born 1960, born the 27th of September, it's me. The Holy Spirit, divine light, judgment, and the middle rat, King of all kings. I can't make it up. It's all leaning with me, with every declaration, with the top scholars in the world who wrote the book Freedom by Jim McGivers, who declared posthumous days on my birthday and found me my DNA 2008. I'm the largest human being born on earth with DNA. And he put up the new climate clock with the 7-year countdown with the top scholars in the world, the Holy Grail of Life. And they know by the Vatican, 2:27, they're going under military bunkers worldwide, nuclear bunkers. And NATO's telling you right in front of your face worldwide with nuclear bunkers and nuclear warnings and new warnings in the world, worldwide on your phones. Get ready for 3 days, the Bible tells you that. What did Christ say? At 24, he woke up from amnesia and he said, I'm son of David, son of Abraham. What's he warning about? Days of Noah and days of what? Lot. What happened to the days of Lot? Stars within a star's orbs of light came all over heaven and earth and wiped out 5 cities. What happened after supernova last year, Jacob Star? I'll tell you what happens. Orbs of light, star within a star, landed all over the earth. Can't make that shit up. You saw it worldwide on mainstream media and social media. Orbs of light, stars within the stars, the same as the days of light. When the days of light, the 5 cities got wiped out and only 5 people saved. You mean exactly the same thing as the Bible and the days of light, the orbs of light all over the world? Exactly the same. You can't make it up. 2:27 on the Euro climate clock. 7-year countdown, 7 year late, the crossover. Then you go into 6 mass extinctions, stripping the 6th sense for the 6th time. If you don't cross over, back into the moral state with the 6th sense, spirituality and not mentality. Not trapped. Cross over through the rebirth. Only those that go through the natural selection and cross over with rebirth will be saved. It's a known fact. It's a known fact. NATO is telling you worldwide to get ready for 3 days with nuclear warnings worldwide on telephones. Set up in 223. They're going under the ground in military bunkers worldwide. Trump and Biden as well. And the military, the elite, they know. They saw it in the looking glass. They saw the future of timeline 1 and timeline 2. Timeline 1 is timeline of deception. Timeline 2 is a timeline of 7-fold wisdom knowledge. The crossover of the last 7 years of timeline of deception and the first 7 years of the timeline of 7-fold wisdom knowledge is 220 to 227. They saw it in the looking glass and the end date's 227. The Vatican knows it's 227. Kim Clement predicted in 2013, 227, he saw the future with deja vu. So did Tom Thorne, so did Seaguys 225, and so did Jonathan Kahn. They all saw the future of 227, and they all know, because they were naturally selected like this, with unexplained error phenomenon. And they know, 227. Winoff knows, Mastermind Xi Ying knows, Jeremy Gibbs knows 227 is the inflection point of no return. The most powerful inflection point in human history. The inflection point. If you don't cross over by then, you go into a time of the sixth mass extinction, stripping the sixth sense for the sixth time, and you'll suffer for 1,000 years. You're told that in the Bible. Well, we're going to a time where time sits still like research for 1,000 years, with real freedom and the greatest liberation and the greatest time to be alive. Very few people know the truth here. But the elite knows they're going underground. The military knows they're going underground. Trump built a nuclear bunker in 220 at the White House. Biden built one at home. They know. They saw it in the looking glass. CERN shuts down. Go and look at everything on Google, what shuts down in 227. Science fiction shuts down. Internet shuts down. Artificial intelligence shuts down because they're in checkmate. They haven't got over in hell. They cross over to timeline 2 or go in extinction. It's not negotiable, never was, and never will be.